All right, so obviously, since the last time we talked, the NBA Finals came to a wrap. Golden State Warriors, your new 2022 NBA championship champions. Gio called it. He said Warriors in six, and that's exactly what happened. In my opinion, I think Jason Tatum is the sole reason why the Celtics lost the series. He did not play to this play that we thought he would. I mean, I know it's his first final, so you can give him the benefit as the doubt as well, but still he should have played better. But you could also credit Andrew Wiggins as well.
Thanks. I think a lot of it goes as much blame as there is for Jason Tatum. I feel there has to be just as much, if not more, credit to the Warriors.
Yeah, for sure. I
Um,
would say to Andrew Wiggins specifically.
Andrew Wiggins massively. I feel like a lot of people thought Jordan Poole was going to have a bigger series.
Right.
I feel like Wiggins was more of that third piece that really pushed the Warriors.
And not just offensively, it was really his defense that changed the series.
Yep.
But what do you think, Gio?
Well, obviously, give credit to the Warriors. That's foremost. For me, I can't really say it's anything to like anyone to blame on the Celtics side. It was just how great the Warriors were, especially on the defensive end. Just because defense wins championships. So, on that aspect of it, give all the credit to the Warriors. For me, though, if I have to say anything or critique the Celtics on anything, it's Ime Udoka, right? Just because, as we've seen before, just like with Jimmy Butler in the finals of 2020 against the Los Angeles Lakers, right? He was gassed. Jason Tatum had to play through how many game sevens? Three,
I
two,
think two.
two, right?
Yeah.
He won four straight against the Nets, right? Or did the Nets take
Yeah,
one?
they won four straight.
They won four straight, went seven against the
The
Bucks,
Bucks and the Heat.
right? So yeah, goes seven against the defending champions in the Bucks, right? Having to carry that Celtic squad, then going against the Heat and having to have amazing performances in game six, well, games 5, 6, and 7, to keep the series alive, right? So to me, it's just I feel like Jason Tatum was gassed, and Ime Udoka should have won another route instead of having the offense run through Tatum. He should have went through Jaylen Brown more, especially since he had the hot hand in the finals. That's just me personally. But give all the credit to Andrew Wiggins. He stepped up when everyone said he doesn't have the will and the wantingness to play in this big stage, and he showed everyone wrong.
For sure.
Fair. Hold on.
I would say I also would say you're right about Jaylen Brown having to get more touches because I believe it was in game six where he had like 25 and then he went quiet in the second half, which was kind of
Right.
odd
Yeah,
to
he
me.
had 25 in the first half, I believe,
Yeah,
or
that was
20
kind of odd.
something.
That was kind of odd because like you said, you have to feed the hot hand, but they went away
Right.
from him. I don't understand.
So like I said, Jason Tatum, I wouldn't blame so much as it would be blaming the coach, right? The coach is always the one you should blame, or not should blame, but it always gets the blame dumped on him. And for
Mhm.
me, I think this isn't this is the same scenario where the coach should get the blame dumped on him. I don't think it's really the player's fault because he was gassed at this moment in time.
That's fair. But I mean, at the same time, you could say he only had 13 points in an elimination game. That's kind of you would expect more, I would say.
Hey, if he's gassed, man, he doesn't have anything left in the tank.
That's
Like
true.
we've seen LeBron James score 2 points in a finals game before
That is true.
against the Mavericks. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we don't go through what they go through, so we don't know.
exactly. So hopefully in the offseason he can get right. He understands this process now of having to go all the way to the finals. And he went through a couple game sevens as well through the process. So if not, I don't think it hurts them to lose. I think it actually benefits them for the future because it gets them ready for that next step and possibly for a chance to actually build up a dynasty, in Boston.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like Marcus Smart said, now that he got a taste of the finals, he wants more. So I think they're
Exactly.
even more hungry.
Right.
I agree. I think it was a massive learning experience for the Celtics. I feel like it was really good to have them lose that first one. because I feel like a lot of teams when they win that first one, they kind of
Get cocky.
they get cocky and they settle a little bit, thinking they're
Right.
top dogs.
Mhm.
But I think going through adversity and losing that first finals run could really create more hunger, like Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. The way they went to the finals and the way they lost the finals, I feel like there's way more fight just overall in Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat team. And I think we're going to see that even beyond with the Celtics because they went 6 instead of just 5.
Right.
But yeah, I'd shout out Jaylen Brown for that. You know, that last game 7 game scoring show he put on. But yeah,
Obviously, Steph Curry's Finals MVP drought did end officially. He got his first of a well-earned Finals MVP after putting up historic numbers this Finals. What do you guys have to say about his play?
the play was elite by Stephen Curry. I think this could have been the best we've seen Stephen Curry play in his whole career so far. And he was a unanimous MVP. It's kind of crazy to think. But yeah, that boy was wilding at the parade too.
No, you could tell that he was like this meant a lot more than the others to him
Yep,
because of all the injuries that they went through the past couple of years, like Clay, not only himself, but Clay as well.
Clay got turned too, bro. That boy funny, bro.
He is, bro. But
Gio, what you think about Curry?
It's a very scary thought, but for me, he's like LeBron James. He only gets better with age. From like you would think Steph Curry would come into the league wanting to play defense, but right now this is the best we've seen Steph Curry defensively.
mhm.
Going against Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, all these guys are heavy hitters, right? They'll knock you down on the offensive end, and he's been able to defend them, especially on the highest stage, right in the finals. And his shot hasn't gone anywhere. If not, it's gotten better. He's able to pass better. He has a better IQ, I feel like, than in the past, and his game's just gonna get on better. Keep getting better. So
Yeah, I mean, the future is still bright for the Warriors at this time because they didn't even have James Wiseman either. Like, imagine if they had Wiseman, they would have. I feel like they would have won in at least 5.
right, but for me, that's like a woulda coulda thing, right? Unfortunately, it wasn't like that. But at the same time, for me, it's Robert Williams is the difference maker. I think if Robert Williams was healthy, the Celtics would have won the series
Yeah, that's
because
true.
he's a monster in the paint. We saw that against the Heat when healthy, and I think if he wasn't healthy against the Heat, we would have saw a different finals.
That's fair.
I cannot agree more with that. Robert Williams really is like a massive factor to that Celtics team as well as a blessing to the Warriors.
Right.
But with that Wiseman thing, I don't think the Warriors would have won if Wiseman was playing.
You don't?
No, because like, what if I think the chemistry would have been more messed up because he's more. Because as much as he did play with the Warriors, his sophomore season,
Yeah.
he just doesn't have the chemistry I feel like the rest of the team has. And I feel like the chemistry would not have been enough for a finals championship.
That's fair. I mean, we'll have to see how he fits with the team next year, but that is fair.
But like having him also would have been a blessing though. Just having that size
Exactly.
could go one way or the other.
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, to be honest, because we haven't really seen much of him in his career. He's always been hurt ever since he got drafted.
Yeah.
Well, when healthy, that is going to be a scary team with a championship team already there. So
For sure. But switching topics to the Heat for a second, it's rumored that PJ Tucker is going to leave them for the 76ers. I do want to hear Saya's thoughts on that and see if he thinks that that's a big loss for the Heat.
It's going to be a massive loss for Miami and a crucial game for Philly if they can sign him. personally, I hope he comes back to Miami. That would be a blessing. But less thinking about Miami with them, because I know that's going to be a massive hit. It's going to be like losing Jay Crowder from the 2020 finals.
Mhm.
We're just not going to have that like pit bull in the playoffs to help us like push through and win game sevens. But if Philly can get PJ Tucker, I think that's crucial to their team because he's going to go in there. He's very Miami Heat like dude too, where he's going to get all in Embiid's face, all in Harden's face if he comes back. He's just going to make them work a ton too.
For sure. That is very true. I didn't think about that.
He might change their whole culture type stuff. Like
That's true. I mean, he is 30 and they're going to give him 3 years, 31 million is rumored if it does happen. But I mean, that's true. He could definitely change James Harden's attitude specifically.
it could be a very underrated but massive signing for Philly, which will get me worried about them going into next season.
Right. What do you got to say, Gio?
Well, I couldn't agree more on what I had to say. PJ Tucker is one of those players where if you're almost a contender team, you're going to the conference finals no matter what for me. It's just that easy. PJ Tucker obviously went, I believe, with the Phoenix Suns, right? Did he go with the Phoenix Suns? Where was he before Milwaukee?
I don't think it was the Suns.
Wasn't the Suns? Was it the Rockets?
It was the Rockets, yeah.
And that was with CP3 and Harden as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so went to the conference finals, I believe, twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then he goes to Milwaukee, wins a championship there, goes to Miami,
Conference finals.
goes to the conference finals, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then look at the teams. What happens after he leaves? He's like LeBron, man. These teams go nowhere afterwards, right? It's because he's a winning mindset player, like Nick was saying. So if he goes to Philly, if he goes to the Nets, for me, my option, obviously, I want him to go to LA. They really need the defense. They need the, tough dog mentalities. They need that hunger again. And I feel like that man alone brings that hunger to any team. So wherever he goes, for me personally, I got them going to the conference finals.
Fair.
Very fair. It was Houston. I thought there was a team in between that. There wasn't.
No.
But yeah,
that's what I thought too. But go ahead, say it.
I was just gonna repeat Gio pretty much. Just talk about why. I was just gonna talk about how he is going to be a masterpiece, and he will lead the Sixers over the hump for the first time, I believe. I think they would go to the finals. At the very least, the Western Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals, you mean?
Well,
yeah. I don't think about Houston, bro.
Joel Embiid, right? In the Joel Embiid era of the 76ers, they need to win a championship before it's all said and done. So
very true. We'll see what happens. I think he's going to go to the 76ers personally because of that Daryl Morey connection from his Houston days. I don't think there's another team that's going to like trump the Sixers offer for him. So I think he's going to pick them, and I think it's going to happen.
What do you think about the money if he does get that contract, that 3-year, 30-31?
Yeah, I think when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, dang, he's 30, and you're giving him that." I mean, it is a lot, but like after what you guys said about him, like how he wins now and stuff, I think it would be worth it, especially for the 76ers who are trying to win now.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like a lot of people think like that, where it's like they more so look at the name and like PJ's stats on paper. And I feel like a lot of people will think, oh, he's overpaid. They should spend their money somewhere else. But I do think that's a very good contract for PJ Tucker. And to have him for that long on contract, I think would be massive for the 76ers.
Right, because he can't bounce teams now.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you?
Well, I have to agree on that statement. For me, it's like Draymond Green, Patrick Beverly. Draymond Green got paid by the Warriors. Patrick Beverly got paid by the Clippers before he got traded. So PJ Tucker is no exception to that. For me, I'd rather pay PJ Tucker than give James Harden that max contract, just because I know what PJ Tucker brings to the table. I'm not too sure on what James Harden brings to the table, especially to the 76ers. For me, you will have to move some pieces around. Matisse Thybulle is a great player, and I feel like he's being underutilized, especially in Philly. But he will help someone else win a championship if they do end up moving him.
That is very true.
I hope they don't move from T-Slow.
I don't think they will. I think they're going to keep him.
I think defensively that team would be they wouldn't be mean defensively because Harden's a liability, but they would easily be able to hide Harden in that defense
Right.
if they keep
yeah.
PJ.
You just put those two on the best two players, and it's locked.
And then you also have Joel, and you have
Right.
Maxey, who can be, have some hands once in a while. So
Right. It would definitely be a big boost for the 76ers if they could land PJ.
for sure.
I need Philly to try to move on from Tobias though, and then have that money to play around and form a real good team.
Right. I mean, it hasn't been any rumors about it, so I don't know. Maybe they're doing something quietly, but
I don't think he'll get traded, but it would just be so much better for that team.
yeah, I think so too.
I think they're going to stick with him just at least for one more year. Just because we've seen what he did in the playoffs, at least this year. He started to show up at least. That's a great sign if you're the 76ers or you're a 76ers fan to see Toby, start to show up, especially in the playoffs. Hopefully he can, take that next step, continue it in the, the season coming up, and then go into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to need James Harden to step up as well. Well, the Sixers will.
Yep.
But speaking of free agents, obviously Bradley Beal said that he has made his decision, but he is keeping it quiet for now. What do you guys think that decision is going to be? Is he staying in Washington or is he gone?
Personally, I think he signs a contract with Washington,
Mhm.
but does not remain.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a sign and trade as well. I don't know to who or where, but I don't think he's staying. But he will get his money.
Exactly. I think he's going to get his bread. Then he's going to get shipped out to Miami. And then Miami makes the finals and win.
What do you think, Gio?
For me, Bradley Beal, if the Lakers can do it, I see them being the number one spot. I see if Donovan Mitchell moves, I see Miami being the number one spot. That's the only reason why I don't see Brad going there. So yeah, I think Miami's gonna roll their dice with Donovan Mitchell, but if Bradley Beal does end up moving, right, he's gonna go to the Lakers, I believe. If Kyrie doesn't go there, obviously, which is another topic. But Bradley Beal, if he stays, right, the Wizards have to get another piece for him.
Right.
I don't know what that piece is. There's a lot of talks going on with multiple, players, but they need something for him.
And that's why I'm saying it's going to be a sign and trade because they can't afford to just let him walk.
Right.
And that contract's just going to be too big to get somewhere else. I don't see him not signing it.
Right. Because if he doesn't sign that and gets way less, then he'll be kicking himself.
But here's the thing. If he signs it, a team's not going to want to trade a whole haul for him. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you don't really have to trade a whole haul, though. I feel like the Wizards just want some picks. And maybe a role player here, a couple role players.
I feel like he's still in his prime. He's only 30. We've seen players, especially LeBron, Steph, and CP3 go into their primes way longer than what people thought. And I think Bradley Beal has a lot of basketball left to play in him. And I think they're going to want a whole haul for him. That's me personally, though.
That's fair. I'm just saying, if you look at the trades in the NBA recently, it's just been pretty much picks. So I'm saying like off that trend, I feel like that's going to continue personally.
Sorry, Nick. Just one more thing. I don't think he's the same caliber as a Jeremy Grant, per se. He's more of an Anthony Davis type caliber trade, in my opinion, where you're gonna have to get a lot of players and possibly some picks with it.
Fair.
I get what you're saying, Gio, with like he is a way better player than Jeremy Grant, I would say. But at the same time, from Washington's standpoint, it's either sign and trade him to make him happy and get something back,
Right.
or he's just gonna walk, I feel like.
Right.
You don't
So I
think they
find-
can? Sorry, one quick question. You don't think they can find a piece for him to stay, like a Colin Sexton or something like that?
No, I don't think anyone wants to go to Washington personally.
Well, like a trade, like not
Yeah,
a sign, but a trade.
I know, but I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
I know it's tough, but anything can happen, really.
I think they will look for the best deal. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to get a deal as if they did try to trade or sorry. I think they're going to look for the best deal, but they will not find a deal that fits giving up Bradley Beal for what they return.
Right.
Because I think all the other teams have the leverage if they do a sign and trade,
For sure.
knowing that Bradley Beal wants out.
Right.
Right.
And I feel like the Wizards, if they do trade Beal, they're going to be rebuilding anyway. So why not get a bunch of picks?
You know, a few first rounders, maybe Duncan Robinson, young player Max Strus.
That's one example, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see him staying in Washington. But I mean, obviously it's his decision, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Could you see him going to the Knicks, like him and Russell Westbrook back together again or something like that? If the Lakers do a trade with the Knicks and the Wizards do a trade with the Knicks as well?
I mean, who are the Knicks giving up for
That's
both
the
those
thing.
players?
If you're talking about trading picks, I feel like the Knicks will have them. So
That's
if
true.
the Knicks trade their picks to Washington and then they trade the players for Russ, something like that, that's an option. Especially
true.
since the Lakers want to win now, they're going to need the players. They don't want the picks.
Right.
So
That's true. I mean, it's a possibility.
Would Julius Randle get traded in that scenario?
Yes, 100%. I would say.
I would say he would have to, but if I'm the Lakers, I would not want him.
No.
I wouldn't either.
I've been down that road. I'm good.
I'm thinking about this from like Washington's point of view.
Right.
Maybe you trade Bradley Beal for like Cam Reddish,
Mhm.
RJ, but I don't think New York would give him up for that.
No, I don't. I just don't think it's very realistic because I feel like the Knicks are still trying to keep their young players
Right.
outside of Julius.
For me, I would honestly try to trade for Derrick Rose.
Yeah, because D
possibly-
Rose, it's rumored that he wants out anyway, or he's going to be
Right.
traded.
Right. So I would try to get D Rose, like you said, possibly an RJ Barrett if they're willing to, get rid of him for Russ.
I think they're just going to have to get rid of Julius because I don't think they want to get rid of RJ.
Or do a sign and trade with Mitchell Robinson. So
Yeah, that's true. It is rumored that they are trying to get a higher pick as well, the Knicks, by trading Julius Randle. So we'll see what
Right.
happens. Obviously there was a, what do you have to say, Saya? You got something?
How high of a pick is Julius Randle worth? Or are they throwing their first rounder in there too?
I think what I saw was Julius Randle and a first round pick for like
Right.
the fourth pick from the Kings or something.
Right.
Sacktown better not, bro.
Because that first rounder is for this year, right? So they'll get the
believe.
11th pick.
I believe so.
Yeah, so it's not that bad if you're the Kings. in
Yeah,
my
but
opinion.
like if you're trying to rebuild as the Kings, I wouldn't want to fall down all the way to 11 from 4.
But then why would you get rid of Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, that's just the Kings organization. We still don't understand that.
See,
But
exactly. If you're trying to rebuild and build for the future, that kid's going to be great in the future.
but if you
When you have
also think about Julius Randle fit wise, they also have Sabonis. So like
right,
I don't
exactly.
De'Aaron Fox, don't put Randall next to De'Aaron, bro.
nah, bro,
Right,
because if he passes to Julius, what is he gonna do? Chuck up a three and brick it.
right. Unless it's 2019. So
Right.
20 or 2020 or whatever the case may be, whatever last year was or 2 years ago.
So I mean, obviously, Julius Randle's definitely on the block. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow.
Facts.
But according to Woj, there's going to be a lot of trades tomorrow, so it's going to be fun.
So
I'm excited.
speaking of trades, a major one
Mhm.
is Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Do you believe he's going to the Lakers as a Lakers fan?
As of right now, I'm 50-50 because it's been reported that if he walks or gets traded, Kevin Durant will request a trade. So I feel like the Nets
He
are
will
going to do it.
request a trade.
That's what it's been reported, yes.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
feel like the Nets are going to do whatever they can to keep Kyrie in order to keep KD. But on the other side, they don't want to pay him that much for the amount of games that he's missed over the past 3 years.
Right.
So I feel like there's a 50-50 chance right now, and it's up in the air. But at the same time, if you're the Lakers, I don't think you can wait so long because if you wait very long and then Russ's value keeps dropping and dropping,
Right.
then what are you going to do?
Exactly. I also saw Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving trade as well.
Yeah, that is also a possibility.
I'm not doing that if I'm LA.
No, I wouldn't either. But I mean, if you're thinking about health standpoint, it's a possibility.
Right. Because either Kyrie is walking, right? Say he wants to, have a day off here and there. At least he's healthy. Anthony Davis, he's not having a day off. He's injured.
Right.
Like people will
But
say he gets injured opening up his, dresser drawer. So
right. But I mean, I still want to keep Anthony Davis, but I don't know. As of right now, I'm 50-50 on whether Kyrie's leaving or staying,
I just can't see him leaving Kevin Durant like that. That's me personally.
which is also another reason why I'm 50-50 because like they're best buds.
Right. Especially if Kevin Durant's with him to the end, really, and he
Mhm.
went there because of Kyrie. I feel like Kevin
Yeah.
Durant's got a lot of leverage on Kyrie because of that alone.
Yeah. I still think that it will get figured out and they will sign him to the max contract, but it will just be like he'll opt out of his contract, I feel like, and then they'll give him a new contract.
Right.
That's what I think will happen.
I also agree because Brooklyn, besides like this new super team, quote unquote, of Kyrie and KD,
Big Ben.
Brooklyn's never been able to sign anybody.
Right.
Right.
So they have to try to keep these two together like the best they can.
Right. Because like if you get rid of Kyrie, say, and then Kevin Durant's like, nah, get me out of here. All you got is Ben Simmons.
Right.
And he's proven that he can't win by himself. So
Here's the thing. This is also leverage for Kyrie to stay there. You can say, we haven't seen Ben Simmons play with you guys yet. Give him a chance. We'll see what happens with you three, together. If you do not like that, then we will trade you, because
Right.
he wants that max anyways.
that's true. Or if the Nets feel like they can't get it done with Kyrie, that could be leverage for them as well. Be like, all right, we got Ben in our back pocket then.
Right.
So I mean, it's gonna be drama for I feel like a couple weeks, and then we'll have to see what happens.
For sure.
I just hope it's not a bunch of like, oh, Kyrie's gonna do this, Kyrie's gonna go there, and then just have that like fizzle out to nothing.
Right, and he'll just stay at Brooklyn. That's what I think is gonna happen.
I just hope they straight up come out and say like, okay, Kyrie's going to resign. And
Right, I hope so too. Because like there was the same situation with the Lakers and Kawhi Leonard back when he was a free agent and he chose the Clippers. We were waiting for Kawhi to make his decision. We missed out on all the free agents. I don't want that to happen again.
Yep.
You got something to say,
Speaking of
Gio? I'll go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
But no, you good, bro.
I had kind of a little different than the topic, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, say it.
I was also going to veer off from the topic and bring up like Miami. So, what you do?
Oh, go ahead, you.
Well, all right. So we're bringing it back. The Wizards are trying to shop Kuz and KCP.
Okay. I don't know why they would trade Kuzma after the way he played, but okay.
With Anthony Davis health being a concern, with the way KCP has played, bless you, with KCP playing well, in LA, who's being the player he is now, would you trade Anthony Davis for these guys and possibly a Bradley Beal with THT
I
or
personally,
something of that nature and a first rounder or something like that?
I feel like we need at least 2 first rounders back because Kuzma, yeah, he's good, but we saw his fit with the Lakers. I still don't think he'd be a good fit.
So you want a first rounder going to the Lakers?
I want 2 first rounders going to the Lakers.
And I would have Bradley Beal, KCP, and Kuz for
Mhm.
Anthony Davis and THT right then and there.
Okay.
Just because I think you might be able to swindle some big center.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
like an Aiton, to sign there.
That's fair. That's true. I think that would be one of the best Anthony Davis trades, given that we got Bradley Beal out of it.
Right.
If Kuzma
And then you
does
got the
play,
depth of Kuz and KCP as well.
right, I was mad that we let go of KCP, so I would like getting him back. But if
Right.
Kuzma does play like he played last year, that's also a great get. It's just
Exactly.
depends on what Kuzma shows up.
Right.
But I mean, that's definitely the best Anthony Davis trade. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
For sure.
What do you have to say, Saya?
Is Russ still on the team with that trade, or do you guys move on from Russ as well?
What do you say, Gio?
Well, I wouldn't put him in that trade just because it's going back, to the Wizards. I wouldn't put him in that trade. I would try to go someplace different. If you do want a big, I try to get Russ for some sort of like power forward or something of that nature.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like possibly a Julius Randle, even though he's only got a left side, he's a big man. He knows how to play. So
Fair.
Fair. I didn't mean Russ in that trade, but like,
oh,
I got
you would
the
still want to
overall
trade
idea.
Russ? Is that the question?
It would just be move on from Russ, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
That's
keep
fair.
LeBron.
Right.
Right.
It is rumored that DeAndre Ayton could go to the Pistons though, because the Suns are going to find a trade partner for him, whether it's
Right.
tomorrow night or days to come. But given that they traded Jeremy Grant, it's looking like the Pistons could be a very likely option for DeAndre Ayton.
Who? Cade Cunningham gets DeAndre Ayton to run with,
Yeah,
plus the draft pick they have, or is
right.
that going to be involved? You think?
Plus
No.
that kid from last year or 2 years ago.
They
That
say
was
that
hurt.
what's rumored is that they say that they're gonna keep the pick and draft the player that they get.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, they're obviously gonna have to give up a lot for Ayton, but they're willing to do it. So we'll see what happens.
I don't see that happening for me though. I would most likely see him going to San Antonio, especially with DeJounte Murray
Mhm.
being on the trading block. So
That's fair. That's also a very real possibility. Those are the only 2 teams that I could see it happening with, though, because I don't think
Right.
he's going back to the Suns.
exactly.
That's just me personally, though.
There's always a spot on Miami,
If he wants to move, actually, if he wants to come in and play the 5, he can come in and play the 5. We got Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and Max Strus to throw out. Maybe a first. Actually, we're not throwing in the first. No,
that would be
maybe a
crazy
first.
for the Suns.
They get more depth. They get nice
Right.
role players.
Right.
We get Bam at the 4, playing godly. I'm with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens for sure. But speaking of the Pistons, as we said, Jeremy Grant did get traded today for a 2025 first round pick, protected numbers 1 through 4, goes to the Pistons via the Milwaukee Bucks. for Jeremy Grant in Portland, who Damian Lillard reportedly is very happy about because this is a player he's been high on. So I think they did this to keep Dame and keep him happy, as well as to help him win.
I agree. I think it was a lot to please Damian Lillard. Jeremy Grant can help you win games, but he's not enough, I feel like, to keep Dame happy.
I agree. I don't think he's enough to get them over the 6th seed either. Maybe even less than that.
No.
Because
Right now,
it's just the West is going to be so powerful. Like these teams are just continuing to get better.
in the Western Conference, with that, like those two being the guys right now, they still got Anthony Simons, but that's just not. There's not enough star power to really make noise in the Western Conference. Western Conference at all.
I agree. I mean, Jeremy Grant is great. Like we're not throwing shade at him. He's a great player, but I just don't think it'd be enough to get them over the hump that they want to be.
I don't think their team is skillful enough. Like, I think Jeremy Grant was a great addition. Like, he makes them a lot better. But the rest of the team is still extremely lacking. Because I would take Memphis. I would take the Timberwolves over them.
Golden State still.
Golden State still, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Lakers.
Right. Like it. I mean, if these teams continue to get better and they don't do anything, that's not going to be enough. But what do you think, Gio?
Me, I'm going to be devil's advocate right here. Jeremy Grant, no bias, being from, being on Syracuse. He's going to be an all-star next year in the West. He's going to average more points, more assists, and more rebounds than he has ever had. Why? Because he's going to be part of a winning franchise. They're going to want to win with Damian Lillard there. They're not going to want to lose like the Pistons. The Blazers want to win, especially with Dame. They want to make sure that they have depth, so they're going to have to trade for more options, right, to get more players. And once they get 2 to 3 more pieces for depth, I think they'll be good.
Fair.
But mark my words, I'm like today, Wednesday, June 22nd, 11:43 p.m. Eastern Time, Jeremy Grant will be an all-star in the West.
All right. We will mark your words.
I'd be happy with it.
I would too, because Syracuse.
Yes, sir.
So when we left off, Saya was going to talk about Gio's all-star take on Jeremy Grant. What do you have to say, Saya?
I do believe that Jeremy Grant could be an all-star. I'm not saying he will, because there's a lot of spots that I feel are locks in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But a spot he could take is Andrew Wiggins if Andrew Wiggins declines a little bit. But I think the best thing for the Trailblazers at this point, the Jeremy Grant trade was a great starting spot. Sorry. But I think they need to also get into the Bradley Beal trades, the Donovan Mitchell ones, try to bring another piece to it to try to contend with some of these teams.
I agree. Because if you look at those teams with Dame and CJ McCollum, they were top 3 most of the time, top 3 seeds in the West. So I think that's what they're lacking of elite shooting guard.
Right.
Because Simons he's a shooting guard, but realistically, he's a backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like him playing with Dame either.
No, because they both want the
get
ball.
traded.
Simons?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not for Trailblazers.
I think they should keep him. Yeah, I think they should keep him.
For me, I'd keep one or the other. You can't have both. Simons is too big of a talent just to be on the bench for me.
That's fair. But if they do end up getting a shooting guard like Beal or Mitchell, I feel like he'd be in his happy place, backup point guard.
The only thing is I feel like he would have to be a key piece to that trade.
Yeah, that's true.
But if they could keep him, I feel like he's going to take Dame's spot after Dame's gone, which could also be at the end of next season.
Right, if they don't win.
If they don't make more moves. So
that's true. I mean, it is rumored that Simons has been rumored in trade, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I feel like they should keep him, like you said, Saya.
Yeah, I think that would be best case scenario.
But yeah, I mean, I could see Jeremy Grant definitely making a jump this season, given that he's playing with an elite point guard in Damian Lillard. As long as Lillard stays healthy this year, he'll get him more opportunities to score, and I think everyone's going to realize just how underrated Jeremy Grant has been these past couple of years.
A good thing too is I think there's gonna be eyes on Jeremy Grant and the Blazers this year, knowing that Dame was close to being out. And
Right.
now Jeremy Grant's there, he can have more of a. Although he's not the guy, he has more, like of a bigger role, I would say, where he will be one of the two main ball handlers if they don't get another piece. And I feel like he will be able to flourish alongside Dame because Dame is also a very nice fit to have next to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely going to take a jump. And I think it was honestly a steal for the Trailblazers just to have to give up a pick. That's it.
When I saw that trade, I was like, come on, Miami, y'all could have gave that up.
That's what I
Right.
was saying about the Lakers. Like, it was rumored that he wanted to come to, like, that he could have came to LA.
Right.
You
I
couldn't have
would
given
have
a first round
given
pick?
up a first rounder.
Yeah, easily. Because he would have been a
Maybe
great
a second
fit.
rounder as well. If I'm the Lakers, bid up the war, man. Like, try to get Jeremy Grant at all costs because he is that great defensive aspect, great offensively as well, and just has great heart. So we saw that on the Nuggets and then on the Pistons.
Yeah, that's why I'm upset that he didn't get to ship to the Lakers, but I'm also happy for him because he definitely gets to play with a great player for once in Damian Lillard.
Right.
The Lakers are wild for that, though.
Right. Because, bro, it was rumored in the trade deadline and we just sat back and did nothing. Like, if that was his price all year, why didn't we jump on that?
Right. It's
If I'm LA, I'm throwing 2 first rounders at Jeremy Grant. Like,
exactly.
If all you want is picks, here you go. We're trying to win now.
Mhm.
yeah, he would be a phenomenal piece.
Right. I don't understand
He
it.
is that missing piece for them.
I agree.
Like that
And-
Alex Caruso, like, Kuzma, KCP, anything. You got a little shooting with him. You got rebounding with him. You got defense. You got it all with Jeremy Grant, and they missed out.
Right. And I mean, it's been a trend for the Lakers that they just like big names, and that doesn't always work out. They got to get off that trend.
Right. And PJ Tucker's one of those players. If you got PJ Tucker, I guarantee you the Lakers would have been in the conference finals. Or could be if he happens to go there.
Right.
Facts.
But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out with Portland with this new duo they got and see where they end up.
For sure.
We have to see the rest of the offseason, but right now, not very high on my list.
No, me either. The highest I have him in the West is 6th.
As of right now, I agree with you, but there's still a lot of offseason to go. Like you said, Woj is predicting a lot of trades right now. So
Yeah, we'll see.
I think play-in.
Really, you still think they'll be in the play-in,
I think that's guaranteed.
even with a healthy Dame? You don't think they could make the top 8?
With their current roster, no. I think they're a play-in team.
I would have to agree with say that's guaranteed. Anything else has to, deal with luck. Possibly, hopefully I'm not willing, wanting any injuries, but injuries would have to, be applied to the scenario for them
Right.
to go any higher. So
That's true because we do have to see if Dame can stay healthy this season as well.
right.
But yeah, okay. But I feel like I've done a lot of belittling Jeremy Grant. So I gotta say, with Jeremy Grant, they're a playing team.
Okay.
I think
Go Qs.
without Jeremy Grant on the team,
They're not in the playoffs, yeah.
I think they're the 14th seed, like 14th in the West,
Right.
something like that.
Because Dame can't do it by himself. It's been proven.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, it also just depends on what the other West teams do beginning in free agency and how much better they get or how much worse they get. and we'll just have to wait and see.
Right.
Facts.
But shifting to the NFL real quick, it was reported a couple of weeks ago that Minka Fitzpatrick got a new deal for the Steelers, making him the highest paid safety. I
Ever.
wanted to hear Gio's thoughts. Do you think he got overpaid, or do you think it was the right move?
All I gotta say is he's got to show up now. He's just got to show up. He's gotten paid. TJ Watt got paid. Our defense is paid right now. They just have to show up, especially with the plays he's had in the past. Minka didn't really have an amazing, year last year,
Mhm.
but he's got to show up.
That's fair. I would also say the defense isn't the issue. I would say the offense was last year. So
Right.
we'll see if that got fixed as well with their new quarterback, if he does get playing time this year.
Exactly.
With the Minka signing, I think it's a good signing. Although he might have had like a down year last year, the year before I had him as one of the top 3 safeties.
Oh, for sure.
So I think it's a good deal because he's very young still as well.
Yeah, I think he's like 25 or 26.
Right.
Could have been in Miami still.
I feel like it was a good signing. I mean, maybe they overpaid him a little bit, but I think they're building for the future.
Hey, it might not be overpaid if he shows up. This gives him motivation, especially since he stated how he's like, yeah, now I got to show up now because of what
Right.
just happened, and he's got to prove himself. This is great for us, only the upside now.
Right. And like you said, it's not just him who has to prove himself, it's the entire Steelers team. Because
For
like
sure.
most of them had a down year last year outside
Right.
of TJ Watt, I would say.
Right.
I think Jake hit it on the dot.
Yeah.
Your defense is not lacking at all.
No.
They have a phenomenal defense.
Offense just got rebuilt.
We got to see something spark in that quarterback room.
Right.
We need someone to step up.
Pickett.
Yeah,
I'm
but
thinking Mitch.
yeah, I don't see Pickett starting from day one. I don't think that's going to happen.
I see Mitchell Trubisky starting. I see him doing nothing. I see our defense carrying the team like they did in the past. Then they're moving to Mason Rudolph. Unfortunately, he will get hurt. And then it is Pickett's time to shine. And he'll win 5 games at the end of the season for us. That's my theory.
Fair.
I don't think he will get an opportunity to this season.
I think personally, I think they're going to start with Mitch for at least the first half of the season, and then if they're
Right.
sucking like with the Bears last year,
Right.
they'll put Pickett in.
That's my. You think they're going to skip Mason Rudolph,
I think so.
especially if they had high hopes on him, like they've been saying?
I do, because why else would you draft Pickett that high?
Understandable.
I don't think they move on to Mason Rudolph or Pickett. I think
Don't tell.
Mitch comes out there. He spent the season backing up Josh Allen. It was a humbling experience for him.
Oh, he's going to light it up?
Now he's hungry.
Okay.
He's motivated. He's been working
liking what
on
I'm
his
hearing.
craft. He was playing behind Josh Allen,
Right.
one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Sorry.
Top 5, possibly. Misspoken right there, but it's all good.
But he's probably learned a ton from Josh Allen. He's probably going to take a bunch of skills back. I think he comes out lights out through
I
the
hope
first
so.
4 weeks.
I'm not rooting against him, but history has shown where he hasn't played well, but hopefully he does do what you just stated. So
I mean, I could see him going off, but given that it's Mitch, I just don't see it happening.
Don't worry. After 4 weeks, he declines.
Okay.
Then they start threatening him to take his job. It gets to week 7
okay.
or week 8. They're saying,
Yeah.
all right, Mitch, you've lost 3 straight games after going 4-0. If you can't do something this game, we're going to bench you. he pops off for 2 more games and then he sucks the rest of the season.
Honestly, given that it's Mitch, I could definitely see that happening. He's one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's my
Oh.
MVP.
Go ahead, Gio.
All I know, he's better than Deshaun Watson. He's better than, Carson Wentz. Better than Matty Ryan for me right now. I'd rather have Mitchell Trubisky because he has upside, whereas everyone else is going downward.
I wouldn't put him over to Sean, but that's just me.
Well, if he can't play, he can't play. That's just
Yeah, that's fair. That's my thinking. True, but yeah, I mean, personally, I wouldn't put him over any of those 3 quarterbacks, but that's just me.
Sorry, I cut out. What 3 quarterbacks?
Oh, it was Matt Ryan,
yeah.
Carson Wentz, and Deshaun Watson.
For
Mitch Trubisky.
Here, let me give you a little analysis. Matt Ryan, after he went to the Super Bowl, has done nothing.
Yeah, but Trubisky hasn't done anything in his entire career, if we're saying that.
But you start from the bottom.
He's all the way at the
to
bottom. He's
top.
rock bottom. He's rock bottom, bro.
There's
when
only
you hit
up.
rock bottom, there's only up.
That's right. So, Matt Ryan, unfortunately, he was a great quarterback. I feel like he's on the decline of his career.
I agree.
Carson Wentz, he can't stay healthy. He gets hit. He gets knocked over. Everything tumbles. He's like Jenga. One piece goes down. He just falls down.
That's true. Anthony Davis of the NFL.
And then Watson, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to play. So
that's fair, but if he is able to play, there's no way Mr. Trubisky's over him.
If he's able to play, he's on the Browns and they choke. It's just human nature for the Browns.
I don't think Deshaun will choke with the Browns. I think he'll turn that franchise around personally.
Hey, that's what they said about Baker.
Yeah, but Baker's not Deshaun.
Personally, I got money Mitch over Deshaun this year. If he does play.
That's fair. I don't see Deshaun Watson playing because of everything that's going on. But
right,
which is why I'm saying that's fair that Mitch could definitely be over him. But
for sure,
if Deshaun does play, I still have him over Mitch.
Now, hear my reasoning why I'm going to say money Mitch over him.
Okay.
Okay. So you heard what I said about money Mitch?
right,
About what he could do.
right.
Yeah.
The thing with Deshaun Watson, I'm doubtful of him for this season right now.
You think it's because of everything that's in his head, or?
I think that's going to be lingering, but also he hasn't played football in so long.
That's true.
Right.
So if he could come out and just completely prove me wrong,
Right.
like I wouldn't be shocked by it, but just him being that same player, right as soon as he comes back into it, I think it's going to take an adjustment period to get back into that NFL game time flow for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very true. I didn't think about that. That could definitely be a factor.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, obviously, we'll just have to wait and see how everything pans out first, and if he plays or not. And if he does play, we'll just have to wait and see how the chemistry happens, because obviously a new team, barely any wide receivers. They let their top 2 receivers go in back-to-back years. So we'll see what he does if he is able to play, and if he's not able to play, we'll just have to wait till next year.
For sure.
They do have Amari Cooper though.
That is true. Amari Cooper is definitely one of the best route runners in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a big boost for them.
He's no Jarvis Landry though.
Or OBJ.
Well, a healthy OBJ.
Yeah, healthy.
Jarvis Landry's over OBJ.
Or Claypool. Claypool's better than all of them. So
okay, now we're getting out of hand here.
Same with Waddle. Waddle.
Hey, Tyreek's on that list too. Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh, think about 10-yard slant. Boom, Tua hits him on the dot. Tyreek takes off.
MVP in the making right there.
I'm excited.
All right, Gio, you got any hypotheticals to end with?
I have nothing this week other than the fact that Steph Curry, did a 3-point game at a park,
Mhm.
right? What do you think of that? Do you think that's good for him to do that, especially after a championship win?
What did it entail? Like,
Well, he tried to win a prize at an amusement park shooting a game.
okay,
Um, you know how those are kind of rigged sometimes with the hoop
yeah,
being bent and all.
yeah.
What do you see that?
I I don't think it's honestly bad. I think it's just him having fun after winning a championship.
Do you think um there's anything though? Well, it's actually on an actual court, right?
hmm
It's just a 3-point contest, really. Whoever has the most 3-pointers.
No, I don't think that's anything to look into personally.
But I'm saying for the competition, like you got a 4-time champion,
Yeah.
2-time 3-point champion, I believe, back to back, maybe 3
Mhm.
times. What about the competition? These guys are just regular day Joes, going against this 4-time champion, best shooter of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty dope to go against Steph Curry. I'd be like, oh, I'm going against Steph. All right, I don't care if I lose.
That's true too.
I think that for them, it would also be like a big perspective swing. Just how good of a shooter Stephen Curry is.
Right.
Right, to see it in real life.
Like they're like these average shows that you said they're going to be shooting their threes. Like, oh, I hit 4 of them out of my 10 shots, and then Curry's going to be like, okay,
I
Right.
hit 10 out of 10.
yeah, like 9 or 10, and
Yeah,
I
that's
think
very true.
it would be a cool experience. Like I would probably hit 1 3, and I'd be like, I hit a 3 on Stephen Curry.
Yeah, same. Exactly. Be like, hey, I made one. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
But go ahead, Saya. You had anything else to say?
But yeah, I think it's cool for Steph. Get the community involved.
For sure.
Little 3-point thing.
Right. Like I said, it's just him having fun after winning a championship.
Right.
Summertime, he's enjoying himself now, so might as well.
Yep.
But you got a segment to do, Gio?
Yeah. So this week, obviously, on sneakers, you got tomorrow, Thursday, Air Force One mid, off whites, and a black colorway and a white one. They keep coming out with these off whites, but you don't really know when the last one's gonna come out. I think it's really great for Nike to be keep coming out with these to commemorate Virgil, right? And I think that whoever's likes shoes should try to go get the shoe, and by this time hopefully the podcast is out, so whoever got the shoe, make sure to comment below, and good luck.
Yeah, there's not much going on in the video game world, so I'm just gonna hand it off to Saya for music.
There was a lot of drops this week, but instead of shouting out someone, I'm gonna ask for prayers up for little TJ. He got shot a couple of times last night. He went through surgery today. Still no word on how the surgery went, but it's tough to hear.
For sure. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Peace.
Yep. Thanks for watching. If you're really feeling it, you can drop a comment or a like. But if you're really, really feeling generous, you can drop a Geo.
Hey, make sure you guys just subscribe. It's 2 easy seconds. You just hit that button and you're subscribed, and you don't have to miss another episode. See you guys on the next one. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.